morning, Dripping Springs High School. This is the LOCO Podcast Halloween episode brought to you by the Tiger Wave Network. Wah wah wee wah, very nice.
Yang Shamash.
Yang Shamash.
Anyways, it's nice to see you all again on this day, as per usual, on this Wednesday. And I'm joined with my co-host, Connor.
Yes, who is dressed up a little differently today.
Yeah, we're in costumes. You want to explain yours?
I am Jerry Only from The Misfits.
Yes.
The band The Misfits, who I believe I talked about 2 weeks ago. So that is me. I have my black eyeliner, I have my devil lock hair, and I have my fingerless gloves.
Okay.
And my bass guitar behind me. Are you going to pull up a picture of Jerry Only so we can compare? There you go. Yeah, that's me. Pretty
That's
nice. Yeah.
I'm dressed up a little bit more simply. I'm just dressed up as a man that could pull off this shirt, but I'm not a man that can pull off this shirt. So I'm just dressing up as a different man, essentially.
What is the shirt?
It's just sparkled, and like I feel like you need to be more dignified and like more successful to pull off a shirt like this. So
Nice. Well, don't let the class system get you down, buddy.
yeah, I know. Okay, so speaking of class systems, and wah wah wee wah, Borat came out, and there's
No,
So-
we're at subsequent movie film.
we're at subsequent
And then
movie
there's et cetera.
film delivery of bribe to American regime for make benefit once glorious nation of Kazakhstan.
Wow. Get a life.
Yeah. So the movie, in my opinion, was hilarious. Now,
Yes.
it's important to preface one thing. Sacha Baron Cohen is a comedian, not a journalist. A lot of people are pointing out that some of the scenes in the movie are edited deceptively or filmed deceptively. And to that, I would say, yeah, it's a movie. Welcome to movies. They're not actually real life. Some of it was real.
Well, a lot of it was real.
A lot of it was real. Some of it, so I don't want to give any spoilers. I just
Well, let's have a spoiler warning, and then we'll talk about the stuff that was real. How about that?
let's do something before the spoiler warning though. So I just want to say it's a great movie. You should check it out if you haven't and you want to see it, and you should not listen to our spoilers because there's a lot of stuff in there that you're going to want to see for the first time without hearing it from us. It's not family friendly. It's not.
Yes, it is. It's a family movie, bro.
According to Sacha Baron Cohen, it is a family movie.
Yes.
But it is not a family movie. So just keep that in mind. I'm sure that the rating of the movie is R. Anyways, let's get into spoiler territory.
All right.
So one thing I wanted to point out was that in the Rudy Giuliani scene, one clear example of where the editing was clever, and I really enjoyed it actually, was when I forget her name.
Tutar
Takes Borat back into the hallway after he comes in with the mic.
Mm-hmm.
That was filmed completely separately.
Oh.
That hallway scene, because I started thinking when I was sitting there, I was like, there's no way that they would take themselves out of the room and then whisper like that with the chance that Giuliani thinks something weird is going on and then they miss having the scene, because you only get one shot with that. It would be weird to do that. And then I heard in an interview, he said that it actually, for the entirety of the Rudy Giuliani scene, he was in a
closet. He was in the closet, a hideaway.
Yeah.
It was pitch black. He had 3% battery.
Yeah.
And he was texting the director, so he knew when to pop out, but then his phone was died. So
that's a good example of where the movie is a reflection of reality, not necessarily exactly reality, but certainly a snapshot of reality, you could say. But Sacha Baron Cohen never came out and said, this is the events exactly as they happen. That's not
it's
what
a movie.
It's a movie. It's Borat. Borat is not a real character.
Wait, what?
So the other thing that I think was probably somewhat not real was the synagogue scene, just because I don't know how you could possibly do that and not.
Oh, what I know about this. He told those ladies what was going on because he respected them so much because they were Holocaust survivors.
I figured that he must have.
So then they went along with it.
Yeah, they were very nice. They worked for the movie, but when I was in that scene, I was like, there's no way that he actually just walked in here looking like that without warning anybody, or that would just be way too much. That would be way too much.
Yeah. My favorite piece of trivia about the movie is how the Obama Wuhan flu scene where he was singing.
Yes, one
There
of
was
one of the most impactful scenes in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, he was at a gun rally, right? Mocking these people. And then there was a Black Lives
That was
Matter
an
rally.
anti-lockdown rally.
No, it was
Was it a gun rally? Okay.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if it's a gun rally during these times, it's probably an anti-lockdown rally too. Anyways, there was a Black Lives Matter rally that was coming to protest that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And what happened was some of those people actually recognized Sacha Baron Cohen, and then the word got out, and then this guy tried to whip out his pistol and shoot Sacha Baron Cohen, but he had his bulletproof vest on. Security guard was like, "It's not worth it, dude." And Sacha Baron Cohen is still alive, so thank God. Maybe we'll get a Borat 3. I don't know. Probably not.
I gotta say, some of that footage was pretty shocking. Hearing people chant, "Chop him up like the Saudis do," and just those horrible. Oh my goodness! Some of that was just jaw-droppingly. I mean, that's. I don't even know what to say about that. That was.
Hey, that's America. What happened?
I don't know.
There's a contrast between the first movie and the second movie, which is that there was this.
The first movie idolizes America in a certain way.
Yeah, there was this underbelly of racism in the first one, but now it's like just straight up apparent, you know? Because
the one thing that I kept thinking about in that scene was just where do we draw the line between like fascist and this? Because I don't see much of a line between it. Once you've started chanting in a crowd full of people and you're smiling and you're saying that we should cut up journalists, we should cut up the World Health Organization, Dr. Fauci, like that's just insane.
It is insane.
That's fascist.
Yeah.
That's anti-democratic.
You know what? Yeah, I know. They're like, fight for our democracy, but they're the exact opposite of a democracy.
Yeah.
And I believe there were some Nazi salutes in that as well.
There were. I noticed throughout the movie, Sacha Baron Cohen he just throws them out there like seeing who will send it back his way. There was the shocking scene where he asks a man how many gas tanks it will take to do a certain thing that I'm not going to repeat on the show because it's so horrible. It's just like really bad, and the guy answers seriously, and that was in Texas. A lot of the movies in Texas, which is
Galveston,
extra alarming because not only is it real, but it's also like here.
Yeah,
it's not just some other place in America. It's actually, and I'm sure we're not the only state. I'm sure it's every state, but it's just a clear example of how deep the problem goes right now. I think the problem really is that people just don't have something better to believe in at the moment. But it's pretty scary stuff, but also hilarious stuff because Sacha Baron Cohen is a genius, and the actress that played his daughter was maybe one of the most fantastic performances I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah,
period.
Good improv.
I don't know what to say. She was one of the most talented actresses I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah,
it's just,
there's an Oscar.
You should all go see the movie if you haven't, because
go see it. Go watch it at home. It's on Amazon Prime Video. We're not getting sponsored. Sponsor us, Borat.
Let's get into
State of the Drip.
State of the Drip.
We now welcome you to the State of the Drip.
Do a voice thing with it. Do a voice thing.
Oh really? Hang on. Okay. I was not prepared for this. Oh god.
Wrap the COVID count.
State of the Drip.
Nice.
Oh, wait, this one might be better. State of the Drip. State of the Drip. State of the Drip. Okay.
Nice.
Now, here's the thing. Okay. I can hear my voice. It's messing with me. I need to turn that off. There we go. Okay. Hayes County, COVID-19 cases, recoveries, deaths. We've got it all here for you. Now, it seems as though there's been about 6,353 total cases in Hayes County. But there's 505 confirmed active cases of COVID-19. I believe that has gotten larger since the last time that we looked.
Probably because of a new spike.
Now, we've got a breakdown here, and actually I want to go ahead and screen share so that all of you at home can share in on the data viewing. I don't want to just tell you. I want you to see. So, 6,353 total confirmed cases. Now, let's look at the breakdown of this. as of 2 days ago. So Dripping Springs, our own hometown, seems to have about 31 of those. Not the highest, certainly not the lowest. As you can see, Manchac, 2, Bear Creek, 1, Austin, 5. Austin only has 5. 5 that we know about, of course. Kyle is really struggling. Kyle's having a really hard time. I'm not sure why specifically Kyle, if it's that people aren't following mask mandates, if people aren't social distancing. But Connor, you can attest to the fact that we've seen a lot of COVID at school in the last few days, and it's kind of alarming.
I believe that is relevant to our next story, actually, if you don't mind me getting into that.
No, I'd love you to.
Okay, so Dripping Springs ISD Superintendent Todd Washburn is going to resign at the end of this fall semester, and there is a interim appointed. Basically, as I said, he's going to resign. He came to DSISD in November of last year, so it's been about a year. But he said, after reflecting on and discussing professional and personal contrasts with my family, I have conceded it is in the best interest of students, teachers, staff, and community for me to permanently step away from the superintendent's role. Now, I'll be honest with you, sounds like a load of BS.
So here's my take on it.
Yeah.
This poor man got a job in November of last year. 2 months later, COVID starts hitting the headlines. It's not a big deal yet, though. 4 months after that, everything is falling apart. And I think that there was I don't think that anybody could have guessed where we would be right now. And I think that when he took the position, he was not expecting to take on the role of a superintendent holding together a district in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm sure that that's probably what you were going to say too. I mean, it's just, I don't think it's what he signed on for.
Well, I think it's probably a mix of that and the fact that somebody probably has to be blamed for the amount of cases we're having at school. And poor Washburn he's taken the blame when it's probably just teachers who are enforcing mask mandates. Because I've seen over Zoom that kids are getting really close and, they're not supposed to be doing that. So,
yeah, I've noticed myself in a few of my Zoom calls that teachers will often say, hey, put your mask up. I wonder what the punishments are. It seems to me that it should be more than just a verbal, hey, fix this. I mean, we probably should be enforcing it if, going back to school these kids are lucky that the school's even making it an option. I mean, these teachers are going and they're sacrificing their own health and safety to teach these kids that sometimes can't be at home. It's not something that's just a given. It's something that the administration, the teachers are working really hard to do. And I think that the kids should probably have a little bit more respect for the fact that they're getting this kind of treatment. Yeah. I'm sure that there's some schools that were just like, look, we don't care. You're going to do all online. We're not putting our teachers back. We're not, Yeah. So yeah, I think that I don't understand why people can't wear masks in class. Well, let me just say, for the people who are like, well, you don't go to school. I took last week or 2 weeks ago, I took the ACT. Yesterday, I took the SAT. I had to wear my mask for the entirety of both tests. It wasn't uncomfortable in the slightest. I was fine. In fact, if anything, I thought I felt more comfortable because people can't see your face, so you can just like fall asleep on the desk and just roll all over. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I can say from firsthand experience, it's not difficult to wear a mask.
Yeah,
6 to 8 hours is not going to kill you.
Yeah. Well, do you think that Washburn is being used as a scapegoat, or do you think some of this is actually his fault?
Well, I haven't seen him being blamed for anything personally. Where have you seen that?
Well, I'm just I know we're basically facts here. I know we're all facts here, but I think this definitely has something to do with the COVID at our school.
Yeah, I think that Washburn probably did the best that he could. I want to be completely honest in the fact that nobody knows what's going on right now. That's a message that people need to put out more often, is that our scientists tell us we need more time before the data will be good enough to use effectively across the board. And the reality of the situation is that anyone who wants to act like they know what's best right now is probably lying to you. So that's one reason that I wish people would just say, I trust the scientists, and that's all. Because anything else is just a lie. Like, if the scientists don't know, then we certainly don't know as two high school students. It's like, I have no clue. I'm just listening to the science the best that I can. But so really, if I were to guess what went wrong with the school, I would just guess that it's a lack of information. We just don't know how to properly fight the virus yet. We tried to rush going back to school, and maybe we shouldn't have. I don't know.
Yeah. Need more
I don't
supplies.
put the blame on Washburn. I met him. He seemed like a nice dude. I don't think that he would have done something to harm the students. Or,
well, I'm not putting the blame on him either. I want to clarify that. I just think somebody might be.
Yeah, I'd blame, if anybody, the students for maybe not taking it as seriously as they should. The fact that they're back at school and being allowed to do that. I mean,
well, I know I saw a student comment on the DSHS News social media that they needed to end mask mandates at school. So I believe there are certain students who are not taking this seriously at all, and that is probably a main factor of this because we live in such it's like urban and rural at the same time because we're so close to Austin, but we're so kind of out there. So you got a mixture of people who are taking this seriously and people who are not because it's just sadly been politicized.
So what's your take on the new cases at school? My take is that I think we're about to see a whole lot more. But because I'm not sure on the exact numbers, but I believe that for a few weeks we only had like one or two for the entire 3 weeks. It was like kind of rare that you would see a new case. And now all of a sudden it's been like every day.
Well, I think it's matching up with like the current trend in America, which is that it's just getting worse again. We're having a second wave of it. And I think it's matching the trend, which is actually something, it's not cool, but it's interesting to see that the scientists are actually, how do I put this? Well, the scientists are right. And that should show you that because we're seeing an increase in our own town and we're seeing an increase around the world. So scientists are right. Listen to them.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a graph that I was looking at last night that might be somewhat illuminating for people. But you can keep talking while I do that if you'd like. Oh yeah, well, here we go. I found it. Yeah. So I would just like to remind people that, well, that's Michigan, but
it's representative.
Yeah, I guess I can use Michigan. I was really looking for an overall graph of the United States.
Yeah.
KC metro area. Just give me USA.
God bless the USA.
Are these from the beginning? Yeah, okay. So what I would like to point out here is that right here, about right here, is where we were all freaking out last year. We were like freaking out. Everything closed down. Everybody was scared. And it was terrible. We all remember this point right here. This is when everything shut down. It was bad. This right here and rising is where we're at right now. Just barely underneath that, and it's only begun rising. It is predicted to be far higher. So just a little bit of perspective for everybody who seems to think that the virus has gone away. It's actually about to get far worse than it ever was. Granted, in the sake of transparency, I will admit that the death rate has gone down significantly. Now, far less people are dying in the second wave than the first wave. It's a much less fatal version of the virus, but the people that it is killing are being affected more because there's more people to catch it from. So it's like, you have to decide, do we want to be okay with a few people dying, or do we want to do everything we can to make sure that nobody dies? I'm for the latter.
Yeah, let's make sure nobody dies. That sounds good to me.
That's enough COVID. That's enough state of the drip. let's go to Ashes of Alexandria.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We're going to talk about... Sorry, go ahead.
You know what my favorite holiday is?
What?
Yes.
Halloween?
Yeah.
That's cool. We're going to talk about Halloween coming to America today.
Nice.
Because who doesn't like Halloween in America?
It's classic.
So, can you guess where Halloween was most present in the original colonies?
What do you mean original colonies?
Like in the colonies that were first established with Protestant belief systems, can you just guess which
New
colonies?
England.
No. So the Halloween was much more common in Maryland and the southern colonies.
Oh.
And especially because of the rigid Protestant beliefs.
Yeah, it was religious.
Well, no. My bad. I misspoke. Because of the rigid Protestant beliefs in colonial New England, there was very limited Halloween.
Man, so I was the exact opposite.
Yeah. But in Maryland and the southern counties, like I said, Halloween was much more common. So originally they were play parties were what they were called. They were public events to celebrate the harvest, and neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance, and sing. So it was more of a community get-together than Halloween, and it was just kind of to remember people that had died and to celebrate the harvest. Fun fact, did you know more people, especially millennials, are buying costumes for their pets? 20% did so in 2018 from 16% in 2017.
Wow. I love dressing up pets.
4% jump. These festivities also feature the telling of ghost stories and mischief making of all kind. But by the 19th century, annual autumn festivities were common. Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country, though. In the second half of the 19th century, we were flooded with immigrants. And the new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. Now, say what you will not have Halloween without immigration.
Ho-ho.
I'd just like to point that out.
Nice.
As for the history of trick-or-treating itself, they actually borrowed the tradition of dressing up in costume and going house to house for food or money from the European traditions. Now, of course, they call it trick-or-treat. Young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband. So they would do tricks with yarn, apples, or mirrors. Very interesting.
Is that where the bobbing apple thing comes from?
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
Well, actually, I read something else that the bobbing of the apple might have actually even come from as far back as Rome.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So.
Very nice.
Very nice. Eventually, it turned into, in the late 1800s, a little bit more what we know, where it was ghosts were like the center of it, more paranormal, and then pranks and witchcraft. Obviously, in colonial times, witchcraft was a little bit more of a touchy subject.
It's like
you wouldn't really joke about that because you get killed. But now in the 1800s, they're a little bit more sensible. Now they just cut off body parts and let you die of bacterial infection. But
it's kind of worse.
No witches.
No witches.
So parents were encouraged by newspapers to take anything frightening or grotesque out of Halloween celebrations. Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century. So where it used to be a little bit more serious, like, hey, look, there's actual ghouls and ghosts that are going to kill you. And that's like, it used to be the tone of Halloween. It was like an actual horror movie. But now it's a little bit more streamlined. Like, we're just going to dress up and have fun.
It's just commercialism nowadays.
By the time that 1920s and 1930s came around, it was a secular holiday with parades and town-wide Halloween parties that featured entertainment. Vandalism began to plague some of the celebrations, and even schools began to embrace Halloween as a fun thing to do with kids. Now we get to the more modern stuff, though. In 1978, Halloween, the original Halloween, was filmed, and it is marked as one of the first Halloween themed horror movies that really like started a generation of movies, you could call it. There's no end to the horror genre at this point of like.
I would disagree with that.
Well, no, let me finish because I was just about to revise that. I would say it's not the first scary movie, but I think that the idea of having a thriller released on Halloween or around Halloween designed to sell because it's Halloween.
Well, I mean, have you ever heard of Vincent Price?
Mm-mm.
Vincent Price is like the classic master of horror, and like all of his movies, like House on Haunted Hill, The Bat, Last Man on Earth, is all like classic Halloween movies, like from the 50s, and I feel like that's probably where that would start. But those are really good movies. I'm just telling people, go check those out. They're really corny, but really good. So.
And, you know, really the only thing left to say is the fact that the last people to jump on board were the candy companies who have now decided that Halloween is about nothing other than candy. So take that as you will, but we are now ruled by the candy overlords, and it is no longer about celebration of ghosts. It is about buying and selling as much candy as possible.
Yeah, why aren't there more tricks anymore? Like,
so that's my Ashes of Alexandria, a little impromptu Halloween session for you all.
Yes.
Music musings.
Musings! Hell yeah!
What do you got?
I got today. Now, I wouldn't usually do like a best of the best compilation, like, what are those called? What are those kind of albums called?
Greatest hits.
Greatest hits, yeah, duh. So I had a brain fart. But mine today is Misfits' Legacy of Brutality, because this album has Halloween, the Misfits song, on it. So now some of the highlights of this, or I guess some of this is the best. My personal favorites are American Nightmare, Where Eagles Dare, and TV Casualty. So Misfits are like horror punk. That's what I'm dressed as today, as we've covered. Jerry Only of the Misfits. And they kind of started the whole creepy, yeah. See, that's the Crimson Ghost from the movie The Crimson Ghost from the 40s. And they actually got to use that skull, which you see everywhere nowadays, as without like buying the rights to it or anything. And the guy who created the Crimson Ghost was like, yo, that's cool, you can use it. I have one on my wall over here, you can't see it, but the Misfits are not a clothing brand. They're actually a band, and they're pretty good. So go check them out. And so if you're wearing a Misfits shirt and you don't even know one of their songs, please take it off. I don't mean to be that guy, but you really, same goes for Nirvana, all that stuff. So that's my little TED talk. But yeah, Misfits Legacy of Brutality. Good stuff.
So I think the album that I'm going to push out there today is a George Harrison album called 33 1/3. It is pretty great. I'd say that my favorite song off of it is Cracker Box Palace. It's a slow burning, good album. You guys will chill out and vibe to it if you choose to do so. That would be, yeah, that's all. I don't have much more to say about that. It's a good album.
Good album. That's all you got to say.
That's all I do have to say. So, what are we, gearing into land?
I think so.
The plane's coming down.
Land is cold.
The plane's not going down, it's coming down. There's a big difference between a plane landing and a plane going down. So we're landing the plane.
It's Halloween. What if we're on a broomstick today? We're on a broomstick today. Haha, what if?
Wait, what? Oh, we're on a broomstick? Okay, we're landing the broomstick?
We're on the same broomstick today, yeah.
Okay.
I'm in the back, so I don't have to fly it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Listen, okay.
Let's each recommend
what it's like.
Oh my god.
Feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. It's frightening. Turns the legs to jelly. Do what happened? Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same, and now it's here. Or should I say,
just a little Thanos for you.
I don't like Marvel.
I know, but a lot of other people do.
Okay, well, we should both recommend a scary movie for people to watch.
Okay, Beetlejuice.
What's your favorite scary? Oh, okay. Well, we already kind of covered Beetlejuice and Scream in one episode, so let's try a different one, Logan. Go again.
Okay. I mean, that's difficult because I've never been a huge horror movie guy. I've liked some of them. I used to own the box set of all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, but they're so cliche, but I do love them. So I guess I'll go with that, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, well, I'm going to recommend, as I mentioned earlier, the old Vincent Price movies, The Bat, House on Haunted Hill, and The Last Man on Earth, which is they remade that as a Will Smith movie. But I'm also going to recommend Green Room, which is about a punk rock band that goes to play at a nightclub, but they don't realize it's a Nazi nightclub, and then they have to fight their way out of it. So it's a very cool movie, and that goes with my theme today as a punk rocker. So
called The Green Room?
Green Room. It's really awesome. And Patrick Stewart plays like an evil old Nazi guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite movies. It's really cool. So go check that out.
I'm gonna sing us out here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Another Loco podcast, baby. It's all over. We did it. We're landing the plane. We made it out safe. Okay. Talking about COVID. We're talking about the history of Halloween. Oh yeah, all right. It's a Loco podcast coming at you live on a Wednesday. It's nice, okay? We like it. It's good. It's 9:40 a.m. The sun is out. The sun is shining, but it's not because it's overcast. So you'll have to just take it with a grain of salt. Enjoy your day anyways, okay? You're not going to get to see the sun today, but you can make your own sun in your life. Make it bright yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. We love you. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Chin-kui. Chin-kui. Chin-kui.
Chin-kui.
There you go.